Welcome everyone. Welcome everyone in the chat room. Welcome everyone tuning into the archives. I've got a number of things that I want to talk about today, but I was going to try to avoid talking about Burning Man things, but I don't think that's going to happen. So if you are over me talking about Burning Man stuff, then my apologies in advance. My name is John Halcyon Stin. This is Hug Nation. Welcome. I am so honored to be spending this moment with you. Thank you for being here. One of today's topics is the recent U-Haul shenanigans with Burning Man. I saw somebody post a video that U-Haul had put up on YouTube that was it was addressed to burners. And it said, hey, when you're bringing a U-Haul to Burning Man, here's some tips. And it told people how they actually sell a $25 kit so that you can cover up the logos. You can cover up the thing that says U-Haul on their truck. And if you've not been to Burning Man or you're not familiar with this tradition, it is tradition to alter the signage on your rental truck. So people will take something that says U-Haul and they'll change it to I don't know, I can't even think of what you would change that to right now, but often they're offensive or gross, and it's often done with duct tape, and I think it's an awesome thing. Like, you acknowledge you've got the logo, and then you like tweak it. And what I presumed this video was a response to was all these vans returning with duct tape stickum all over them. And so this page, it had a how-to video on how to use this $25 kit to put a vinyl thing over the labels and their logo, and so that you can kind of get in the decommodification vibe of the event. And then it also had links to areas near the event and Reno area where you could get a RV cleaned. So it was kind of, hey, look, we want to play with you guys, but let's make this work. Let's do it so we can do this harmoniously. I imagine this was in response to somebody looking at a spreadsheet and being like, oh my gosh, look at how many hours we spend either on labor fixing these up and getting them back into rotation, because every time a vehicle is not being rented, that's costing them money, or how many hours that they are involved with, like, customer service battles with burners who are like, man, no way, I'm not paying for that, or whatever. So they're like, let's make this work. In fact, I believe at some point, and that U-Haul actually had a policy, or many of them had a policy of not renting to burners. I'm not entirely sure if that's true, but there was a number of organizations that were like that. And in fact, the advice that you usually get is don't tell anybody that you're bringing your rental car, your truck, anything you rent. Don't tell them that you're bringing it to Burning Man, because some people will either jack the price or they'll say, no way, because they have learned over time that they get returned in horrific conditions. So this video is like, hey, we know what happens when you bring it to Burning Man. Let's try to make it work for us moving forward. And I posted something on the Burning Man blog, and I was like, hey, this is awesome. Like, here is a corporation that's trying to figure out how we can have a harmonious corporate and burner decommodification relationship. I also acknowledge that it's a fuzzy line, because here we have a corporation trying to play in our pool. And after I posted the blog, a number of people did not see it like I did. A number of people were very upset and very much think that anything that connects Burning Man, the name, the experience, the brand, with a corporation is marketing, and it is bad and eroding all the foundations that we have built. My feeling has been that it is a fuzzy line. If you can keep out corporations and corporate influence and corporate awareness and brands out of the city, that's a victory. If you can push that back into the default world, well, that's all bonus. But to try to keep decommodification into the real world, default world, it's it's silly. I mean, everything that is brought into Black Rock City is purchased. Most everything. God bless you people that build your own vehicles and construct your own tents and mine for your own metals so that you can make tent poles and things like that. But for the rest of us, it's a process of lots of purchasing and consumer experiences that we get out of the way in advance, and so that we can have this decommodification experience once we're on the playa. Okay, so that's where I fall in this, and I have been interested in and encouraging corporations to learn how to play nice with us. And I thought this was an awesome example of that. I did point out that, at the bottom of this page, they were trying to be cutesy, and it said barter supplies. Instead of just saying, moving supplies or supplies you might need for going to the desert, they put the headed barter supplies. I'm like, well, nice try, but no. So all this goes on. We get all sorts of a lot of people saying, cool, way to go, U-Haul. A lot of people also saying, screw you, U-Haul. You're trying to market to us. And I pointed out to a lot of people, look, this is not an advertisement. This is a resource. And if it was an advertisement, my tune would change. If I saw this as a sponsored post in my Facebook, I'd be upset, because then they are saying, hey, how can we market to burners this way? But they're saying, look, we have a relationship. People are using our product, and there's a problem. How can we fix it? That's how I saw it. So after all this back and forth, and pretty heated stuff, and then Burners.me wrote about it, and a bunch of other blogs, and everyone's the senior vice president of U-Haul International wrote a long response to my article, basically saying, look, we're doing our best, we're trying to make this work. We actually sent this to Burning Man organization, and we didn't get a response, so we went ahead and posted it. We know that everything's sensitive. We have a service that it's built on our relationship with people. If we screw people all the time, it doesn't work for us. And we have this kind of, the whole system of continually renting out, kind of shared ownership of these trucks over a community. This is kind of how they explained it. I thought it was kind of cool. Depends on community-type relationships, and a community-type relationship where you would take care of it and learn how to take care of it so that other people don't have any sort of, unpleasant experience, and so that they don't lose money. He was very upfront, like, look, we're trying to make money, but we also want to do it in a way that it's a win-win for everybody. And I thought it was further proof to me that, their intentions were in the right place. Also, they changed the heading. They changed it from barter. They're like, okay, thank you. Look, we're feeling our way through a dust storm here, basically, and we appreciate the help. So it was a really, I don't know. I'm sure there's some people argue that this was a turning point in the further destruction of all things beautiful and pure in the Burning Man world. But I thought it was a cool example of how a corporation was trying to honor, our beliefs and our principles. Keep in mind, the kit that they were selling, people were like, they're just trying to make more money. $25 kit. And what does the kit do? It covers up their marketing. So, kudos to those of you at U-Haul. Kudos especially to Stuart Schoen, the Executive Vice President at U-Haul International. And kudos to everyone who is a part of the continual evolution of the Burning Man vibe and principles as it spills into a year-round default world, inner, outer, everywhere kind of influence, because I think that is exciting. See you at home. Okay. Second thing I mentioned about Burning Man is if you haven't seen it yet, there is a response or a post on the Burning Man blog that is what we're doing to discourage the turnkey experience. if you remember from many months ago, all the uproar about the turnkey camps and the Sherpas and all the things like people frustrated that there is this whole business being built on tourism, kind of safari camps where they build the camp, they bring in RVs, they bring in cooks and chefs, and they have fabulously wealthy people buy very expensive packages to the experience, which basically means that these companies that are building a package on top of Burning Man are charging a entrance fee to something that a artist created for free and did not get paid for. The only people getting paid for, that the experience of that art is these leeches, these parasites. So a lot of people were very upset, and it's a few months late, but the Burning Man organization has finally responded, and I think a really awesome, powerful, significant way with specific policies, specific checks, specific approval processes, with, I think, a real sincere attempt to preserve what is magical about Burning Man and trying to ensure that all participants in Black Rock City have, to some degree, that same ownership and that same civic responsibility and that same equality. So, yeehaw, go Burning Man organization, way to get a win, woo! The final important Burning Man related thing that I wanted to mention was I wanted to give some tips on hair dyeing for the burn. So, you may have noticed I have pink hair. I've had pink hair for over 10 years. My first time with pink hair was at the burn. I came back from Burning Man and went straight to a trade show where I was working on behalf of a company, and within one day, everybody, all the reps knew who the pink-haired guy was. And so the client that I was representing was like, dude, keep the hair. And I was like, are you serious? He said, yes, it's working, man. This is awesome. I'm like, so then I was the pink-haired rep for this company for the next 4 or 5 years and built a brand around it personally since then. Yay! So I have dyed my hair a few times, so I think I know what I'm talking about. One thing to keep in mind is that there's a huge difference in staying power and quality between dyes. I can only speak to pink. So I can tell you that, to me, the strongest pink dye that I have used, and the one that I use right before I go to the burn, is Special Effects Atomic Pink. It's going to be a burgundy, dark when you first put it in, but it will last through the week. Whereas if you do a lighter one, like if I do Cupcake Pink, that'll be blasted out from sun and wear in a few days. So I know you might want to have your pastel blue. It's not going to make it through the week. Plan on redoing it, which is very hard to do in Playa shower conditions. A couple other tips. I personally prefer my hair to have a little bit of roots to it. This is too much roots, but I prefer to have a little bit of roots rather than being what it looks like the first 4 or 5 days after I bleach. So I like to do my bleaching like a week before the burn. Sometimes I'll even stay blonde for that week and then give it a rock solid dye job as late as possible. Now, with a late as possible dye job, it looks a little dark, and I'll probably have pink on my ears for the first couple of days that I'm setting up, but that's the only way that I've been able to make it last throughout the week. If you want to use a color other than pink, I recommend doing some online research. There is so many people talking about hair dyes. You can find all sorts of probably 13-year-old girls, but I bet you could learn a lot from a 13-year-old girl, especially when it comes to blue hair dye. So just do a little research. And probably you're going to want to order something online rather than what you can get in the grocery store. In the grocery store, you can get Splat often, which features my face, but I would recommend a more hardy, stronger dye for the Playa. I know plenty of people that do use Splat for the Playa, and especially it's the easiest one to get, but there are more powerful ones if you do the research. So if you've never dyed your hair before, the most important part of it is bleaching. You have to destroy your hair. You have to rip out all the color that's in it, make that hair weak and surrendered and porous. If you have curly hair, it's going to make it straight. It's going to turn it into straw. But it is that condition of making it super dry and super like porous and empty of pigment that then it will suck up the dye after you put it in. Whenever anyone has awesome bright hair, it's because they bleached like crazy. It's not, I mean, a dye can only do so much. Bleaching is a pain. Bleaching hurts your scalp. Bleaching is maybe something that you might want to have a professional help you with. I generally do it 2 or 3 times before the burn so I can get it as white as possible. The first time, depending on how dark your hair is, bleaching it once, it could just be a little orangey, which, could take the dye, but to get that really bright, you're going to go bleach, double bleach, white as can be. It won't be white, it'll be a yellow or something, because that's the thing. If you want white hair, you actually bleach it till it's yellow, and then you dye it, you use a toner, which is a purple, and that gets it out the brassiness and makes it kind of a violet-y white looking. But I could talk about this for hours. The point is, bleach like crazy, find a really strong dye. What you might want to do too is bring some backup with you. Bring some of your dye mixed in with conditioner. When I do my hair now, like when I'm not at Burning Man, I mix Atomic Pink with like 1 to 10 of conditioner, maybe 1 to 20, and just totally lighten it up. So I will probably bring some of that in case midweek I want to throw a little bit more color in. But that's ambitious. Don't plan on doing that. But if you're really nervous, you could think about it. Let's see. Yeah. Good luck with things. Let's see. People always ask, well, why didn't you do your eyebrows or your facial hair? The dye doesn't stay nearly as well. It looks much weirder. I'm not as big a fan, on myself at least, of colored facial hair. I've also tried my pubes before. It's a lot more challenging to bleach the coarser hairs, and the dye doesn't hold that well, but it's Burning Man, go for it. I think that's all I wanted to share. So, the other thing is that make sure you wear gloves and put on Vaseline around like your ears and your skin area, because many of the bright colored dyes, for the most part, are just stains. There are some that are chemical. Like if you wanted if you were blonde and you wanted to be a brunette, you'd use a chemical process that would like, I don't really know how the science works, but it's a chemical process that permanently changes the color of the hair. Bright colors are just like putting beets in your head and staining the white hair. Most of the really bright colors are that way, and that's one reason why they don't last that long, is because it's not a chemical process, it's a stain. The plus side is not so much chemicals. The downside doesn't last that long. Good luck. You may also do some damage to a bathroom. So if you have a really nice bathroom with really white grout, you might want to think about maybe doing your first rinse with a hose out someplace where you won't get in trouble for tainting things. Every bathroom that I've lived in for the last 10 years, by the time I move out, I can just pretty much assume that part of my deposit goes to the strawberry shortcaking of the shower. May you re-strawberry shortcake your world and color your head, body, and life as pink as possible. Before, after, during the burn, whenever. So, I hope you are as excited about Playa Prep as I am. I am on fire. This weekend we glue gunned a bolt of pink fur to couches and chairs and all sorts of stuff, and I cannot wait to share it. Pink Heart will be at 8:45 and Esplanade. We have ice water every day. We have vegan coconut milk ice cream Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. The Pink Ride is Thursday at noon. I will give a talk, and then we will go on a ride, dress up in pink, and have a special, amazing experience with a bunch of incredible people. Incredible people like you! So thank you for being here today. I love you.